Coming to club, shaking my dread, throwing these bows, busting his head. Oh.
Uh, Doing my thing, chicken the wang, Matthew the ham. I don't give a damn. Man, listen, man. Welcome to the Fake Stuff Podcast, brought to you by the crew. That's my homies. We are back at it again, and tonight we are gambling, man. I put my heart and my soul into this gambling craft, man. If you really want to check me out on the gambling, hey, man, I've been on the Prize Picks doing some NBA, but college basketball, deep into that a little bit. That's what I'm saying. Craft man, for those who don't know, me and the craft man and a lot of the crew grew up playing basketball, but it's just kind of stepped away from basketball all these years. But this year, I've been back into some college basketball, and can't really get into the NBA. They all sorry, man. They all trash. That product they put out, man, sick of it, man. Nobody wants to watch layups and three-pointers exclusively. I'm just being honest, man. Trash. But college basketball, you still get some different styles and stuff. I don't even know why I'm talking about that, because we gambling. We got wild card. No, not wild card. We got these divisional rounds. Is that where we at, Craftman? 4 games left.
4 games left, divisional round. I didn't mind you talking about the NBA because we could have ragged on that shit forever. I remember when I loved the NBA. It was like, it was my favorite thing in the world. And then they just want to rest their players all the time. I have Underdog for NFL. And me and Noah got this inside joke where we just be telling each other, man, Joel Embiid's out for another 2 weeks. Got another notification. These motherfuckers don't play.
That's what I was saying, man. My favorite player, Kawhi Leonard. That dude rested. I mean, how could you take rest days in the playoffs? I mean, what the fuck? That shit don't even make no sense. But I'm with you. You know what, crap, man? A quick story, man, because I defended the Spurs. I used to pull for the Spurs like later on in life.
My squad.
I remember when I was in 8th grade, bro, telling you, man, the Spurs are old, man. Those jokers are old. Dude, I was like 24 talking about the Spurs still, the same group of guys, man. I was telling, because they used to talk LeBron this, LeBron that. I'm like, dude, LeBron can't even beat Tim Duncan. I've been saying he's old since I was in 8th grade. I'm 24 years old.
Hey, that was my squad back in the day, man. Me and him, he used to be a Mavs fan. I was a Spurs fan. Tony Parker, favorite player. You know, that team stayed together forever, and they just kept winning championships. And you know, you had the days of the Pistons with Ben Watson and what was the other guy?
You talking about Ben Wallace?
Ben Wallace, yeah, Ben Watson, freaking Ben Watson. This is why we don't do the NBA. This is why we don't do an NBA podcast.
It's just for people that know, it's
Rasheed Wallace,
because we were so Shoot, it just cracks me up because we were so deep into that stuff back in the day.
Chauncey Billups.
Now I don't know a damn thing. Man, listen, when I saw that Lonzo Ball and Markelle Fultz were the top 2 picks in the draft, I said it's done with, man. It's over with. I don't even care. These guys are trash. And I haven't really kept up with it in years, but back into the college hoop. So if you want to, I'm sweating it out right now. UNLV -5.5, got them rolling, and they're killing it, sweating it out, trying to make a little money. Once I make that money, I'm gonna put it into Bitcoin. Y'all know what I'm saying? Let's make some money, man. That's what I want to say to y'all. This is gambling. Hey, the Orange Man is back, bro. Let's go make some money. Let's go put it in some stocks, and let's go make more money. You know what I mean, Craft Man? Put in some crypto. Gamble, scare money, don't make no money. UFC fight card tomorrow. Matt Hammond's all into that. It's a business trip. You know what I'm saying? But I can't fucking wait. But let's talk some NFL. We got 4 games to talk about on Saturday and Sunday. Craftman's deep in the Prize Picks. I will be hopping into the Prize Picks. I got no bets placed, but the game lines, it's like I say, I did 17 episodes. Well, I did like 15 or 16. Craftman did a couple solos throughout the year. The gambling is our best thing. That's what people want to listen to the most, really, is gambling when it comes out. Because people love gambling and people love making money.
They love losing money, too, sometimes. But
yeah, I mean, I'll say this.
Gambling's an addiction, just like anything else, just like all these beers I drank tonight. I mean, gambling is so freaking fun, and it continues on after fantasy. I'm diehard fantasy all year long, but when it comes playoff time, we ain't got fantasy no more. It's like I'm 100% into Prize Picks, the game lines, everything else.
Yep. Love it, man. I always say I even told Crapman this a long time ago, and I'm glad we do the gamble. I was like, there's only one podcast I'd quit doing the fantasy for, and that would be gambling. I love it, man. I just love the game lines, and it's bad, man. It really is, man. Put my heart and my soul into these game lines with the poor man P. Miller hitting them up. Trying to make some money. I mean, it's fun to make money. And the thing is we really ain't losing money like that. I know people lose and win and all that stuff, but I ain't losing that much. You know what I'm saying? Don't feel. If I am, I'm certainly unaware of it.
Yeah, I'm in the green as far as the year goes. I mean, I don't know the exact amount, but I've definitely won more than I lost. But I'm not a big, I'm not going for the high reward type stuff. It's if I go for the high reward type stuff, I'm betting small money. But if I'm going,
Man,
I want to triple my money. You start going up in your, you
yeah,
know,
man,
you
you couldn't
get
couldn't
up
have
in
said
it.
it better, man. You couldn't have said it better, crap, man. My thing is I love to hit the what are the most probable parlays that I can hit? You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's really why I've just started getting into two legs all the time. Like, I like two legs more than anything. I just love to match them up. But
Yeah.
not to say I will get on Dabble and go put in a 12 leg and put $3 on it and try to win $1,500. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
think everybody should do that. In fact, I know we sitting here rambling through the intro again like we always fucking do, but are y'all going out there buying lottery tickets? Like, why don't you just go put $1 or $2 on a 10-leg parlay? I mean, I saw poor man P. Miller hit on one this year, and it'll pay for you a whole year if you just hit one in 18 weeks. And if you don't, you lost $36.
And as far as gambling goes, I bet on a lot. Every time I play cornhole, I'm betting. Every time I do this, I'm betting. Every time I play golf, I'm betting. I'm one of them guys that like to bet on themselves. It's like you said with the lottery tickets, you ain't got no. I mean, it's just plain luck. So why not test your skills out? Get on one of these damn sites, and don't get addicted to the shit because you can lose a lot of money. But
Right.
go in there and see what you can do with it. And that's what we like to do. And then you can brag about the picks you hit and everything like that.
And if you got a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLING. And
yeah, that's it. The 1-800-GAMBLER.
Somehow they're gonna fix it for you. I don't know. I've never called it. Maybe one I'll just call it just to see what they're talking about. But and I do say this: when you get addicted to gambling, I don't really think it's because I won a lot of money, I hit on this. I think people get addicted to gambling by damn, I lost. Let me try to make that up.
Yeah.
Oh, damn, I lost again. Let me try to make all that up. You know what I'm saying? That's where you start getting addicted and you start getting yourself in trouble. So don't do that. And if you do, call 1-800-GAMBLING. I say I'm joking, but I mean, it really is out there. I've never talked to anybody about it, so I don't even know.
It is. It's just going to be like Terry Crews on the other side, just like, stop gambling. It's going to be Samuel L. Jackson on the other side. Stop gambling, motherfucker. And that's going to be it. And you hang up the phone.
Well, shoot, we got 4 games this weekend, and we're going to go ahead and dive right on in. And first game, Houston Texans and the Kansas City Chiefs. And the spread right now, I'm going to go ahead and label it all out. It's Kansas City is favored by 9 points, and the over and under is set on 41.5. And this is according to my bookie. You need to go check on whatever websites that you want to. I know where heck, me and Kraft Mag, we in Georgia, so there's a lot of prospects, and the gambling that I'm talking about, you probably can't even do unless you need a bookie. And if you need a bookie, you can hit me up on the Discord, and I can set you up with a bookie because my bookie and my commission be doing this thing. But like I said, heavy underdogs.
ESPN bet got it at 8.5.
8.5. 8.5, 9. I've seen it at 8. First of all, Kraft, just your thoughts on the game. What do you think?
I mean, 8.5 is a pretty big number. 8.5 is a pretty big number. The Chiefs beat the hell out of them last time they played just a couple weeks ago. Joe Mixon I think he is questionable to play and kind of got an ankle injury that he suffered in practice. That ain't never good when you have an ankle injury during the week in practice. So I'm not big on taking Kansas City to cover. But this week, I think you disagree with me. I think Kansas City's going to cover this. Kansas City in the playoffs are a totally different team. They started covering spreads later in the year. They weren't covering shit early. Like they were one of the best bets to take to not
never
cover
have.
but win. Yeah, they're one of the best bets. But Houston last week against the Chargers, they beat the living hell out of them. But they still didn't score no offensive touchdowns. I mean, they scored at the first offensive touchdown was with 50 seconds or so left in the second quarter. And that was a big play. I have a hard time thinking that Houston's going to be able to put up any points in this game. And cold weather, Kansas City playoffs, Kansas City's going to roll. That's the way I look at it right now. Kansas City's just going to roll. It's a big number though.
Yeah, I'm literally trying to pull up my sports. I like this because when I talk about all this, I got to pull it up now. When I talk about these things, when me and Phil, every bet I place, I pretty much discuss it with Phil, and we talk it all the way through. And one of the favorite things we like to look at is where's the money going? Where is all the money going? So according to what I got on Sports Bet right here, I'm with the public on this one. And the thing is I usually try not to bet with the public all the time. You know what I'm saying? I usually try to split it up and go half and half.
You're a conspiracy theorist.
Conspiracy theorist. If you know me and the crew knows it, if any of them are listening, I'm that ignorant motherfucker named Matt Hammond, and I wear it like a badge of honor. And and the same thing with it. If you ask the poor man, P. Miller, man, we've had side eyes. Look, man, we question everything. So when Vegas is sitting there, those buildings did not build themselves. That city didn't build itself. You know what I'm saying, crap, man? So Vegas is definitely winning some of this shit. You know what I mean? This one, the only reason I'm rolling with the public with Houston is because Kansas City, they just don't cover like that. And I know that we're in the playoffs and it's a different animal, but I just never pick Kansas City to be covering spreads. And I certainly don't want to pick them at 9. I mean, some websites right here, it's already bet up to 10. I mean, Kansas City's going to beat Houston by 10. They could, but it's. I mean,
that's crazy though. Why is it getting bet up if the public's on the Texan side?
I don't know. You know what the thing is I'm on Betting Pros and I'm looking at different spreads. Well, I guess I'm sitting here showing you, acting like you can see it, but it's really just showing what's the best line. So on one gambling site out there, there's a +10 out there somewhere, whatever that site is, and then.
They beat them 27. They beat them 27-10 a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
Kansas City.
So, right, and so the best line over here they got and that's DraftKings is -8.5. I don't really know what this website is with a P. I've never really heard of them. Might have to check them out, whatever site that is. But I'm just rolling with the Houston Texans. That's the main bet that I've placed this weekend. I'm not placing big money on these. I'll let you know if I'm placing big money. Like there was like earlier in the year when I thought there was a trap game with the Jets and Houston. I was like, man, I'm throwing big money on the Jets, and that's a trap. This one right here, I wouldn't put big money on it because it's like you said, if Kansas City covers the spread, I ain't going to be surprised, not even a little bit. It's playoff time. It's time for Kansas City to roll. I just think Houston might be a little hotter than what they were. Really, I didn't even pick Houston to win, period. I was thinking they was going to get knocked out in the first round, but here's you give them 8 points, I'm just going to take my odds.
I'm just wondering how Houston scores. I mean, the strength for the Chiefs is their defensive line. The weakness for the Texans is their offensive line. Joe Mixon's banged up. Nico's out there. Kansas City's probably going to shut him down to their best ability. And what else do they have? I just have a hard time seeing Kansas City scoring. I mean, the Texans scoring, 2 offensive touchdowns at the most.
52% of the public is on the under in this game, and I think
it's at 41.5.
Yeah,
that's pretty low.
And I've seen that's the kind of reasons it's just hard to cover 10 points in a low over and under type of game.
You're right about that. I do agree with that. Low over under. That many points.
When it comes to gambling, it's just like it's more than just. Maybe you overthink it sometimes, but I'm just not really. I'm thinking about Houston and Kansas City, but I'm also just thinking the odds and running through shit in my head, and it just leads me to Texans covering. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Would not be surprised if I lost that bet. Hell, I'm cold in the NFL right now. I'm as cold as could be. Hot in college basketball, hot on some prize picks. Even hit on the hockey the other day, but the NFL is a tough one to figure out. But that's why everybody loves it. So I'm my bet I've placed is Houston to cover. Is there any player bets, prize picks that you like for this game, Craftman?
Man, I always try to stay away from Kansas City with the prize picks. I mean, I don't screw with them. They got DeAndre Hopkins. They got all the receivers pretty low. I mean, DeAndre Hopkins is like 30 to 40 yards. I don't have it in front of my face, but all their receivers are pretty low. The main bet would be if you want to believe in Travis Kelce playoff time. His receptions is at 6.5. His yards at 55.5. He hasn't been averaging a whole lot of yards per reception. He's not as athletic as he once was. But I didn't put any money on Kansas City on my prize picks. The only prize picks I got on the Texans is I got Joe Mixon at 16 carries. Because
what about
but I put that in early in the week, and I'll go ahead and tell everybody I put this in on Tuesday before the lines got high. Joe Mixon is questionable to play, so I'm not feeling super confident about that bet right now.
I'm pretty much all in on people betting early. I think I
love betting
I know there's
early.
good times to bet.
The lines are low.
I think the best time is to bet early. Real quick before we move on to the next game, what about Dalton Schultz? They shut down Nico Collins a little bit. Does Schultz get in the mix a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, Schultz could definitely. Kansas City's really bad against tight ends too. So Dalton Schultz could definitely be involved. He's at 4 receptions on here. That seems like a good number. Might be a push. He hadn't even hit that number. He had 2 receptions against the Chargers last week, but they were up, so they didn't have to throw the ball as much. But Kansas City's defense this is not a game that I want to bet on. I like when I do prize picks, and most people that do bets on prize picks and underdog and all that stuff, they usually bet the overs on stuff. And I prefer to bet games that have high over unders and pick the players in those instead of relying on this over under of 41.5. I mean, the unders will probably hit 70% of the time in this game more than the overs.
Yeah. I saw a stat, and I wish I had it in front of my face. Unders, I will just say unders are hitting more than overs, especially in playoff time. At least according to what I saw. Don't even – if you – just go look it up yourself because don't bank me on that. I wish I had it in front of my face and I could tell you.
I'll tell you one thing, man, before you get going. Yeah, I'll tell you one thing. Before you get going on that, like I was sitting there talking to Levi and Noah last week about the Commanders and the Bucks game, and I was just like, let's take the under on that game because in these playoffs, teams are a little bit more conservative. They want to have long drives. Like, don't make mistakes because mistakes is what kills you in the playoffs. And a lot of these games are going to hit the unders because defense comes out in the playoffs for one. And another thing, teams don't just be running bullshit.
Right.
Let's try to take the top off the defense, like trick play, all this kind of crap in the playoffs. They're trying to sustain drives. They're trying to get first downs. They're trying to play safe football. So that's the way the playoffs kind of roll.
I'm with you. I agree. Well, how about the next one? You want to move on to the next one?
I'm good. Yeah. Let's move on to the next one.
We got Washington and Detroit. And right now, my bookie, the spread is 10. Let me go check out what we got on
9.5.
All the other ones. Some of them are 9.5. On my bookie, I got 10. That's where I like to place my bets. 9.5 seems pretty that's the median of all of these right now is 9.5. And
Crazy.
this over and under is set at 55.5, crap, man. And I'm just gonna be honest, I don't ever recall. I've been gambling, I don't even know, not too many years, but like 4 or 5 years probably. And I just don't ever recall an NFL game really being over 54. And this one's set at 55.5.
Well, they had one game last week that was like 57.5. I think it was Detroit and Minnesota.
What game was that?
Close. Detroit and Minnesota.
Damn. I can't believe that. When it comes to NFL, it's like there's like these over and unders that are pretty like set. It ain't like college where there'll be like a 63.5 or something like that. Like you never see nothing like that. So when I look at these 55.5s, I really just want to hit the under just because the over and under is so high. But as far as the spread goes, I would stay away. But look, man, literally all the money. I was seeing all the money. It's all going to Detroit, and it's all going to the Detroit to cover. And I don't blame you, but this would be a big win for Vegas right here. And that was right when I woke up and I saw where all the money was going. I said it to Phil. I said, Phil, what do you think? He said, I think I'm going to put some money on Washington. And I don't blame him because that would be a good payday for Vegas right there if that one comes through. So personally, I'll probably stay away unless I go tap on the under. But the thing is I can clearly see them getting 55.5 points being in the dome. Detroit's offense, Jared Goff is rolling. Jaden Daniels, I mean, I'm a Jaden Daniels believer in real football. I think he's a legit quarterback, so I wouldn't be surprised if it hit. What say you, Kraft man?
I mean, the implied total for Detroit is 33 points. Yeah. I mean, you do 55.5, that's 33-23. And so I think Detroit can get in the 30s, but like I said a minute ago, Washington – when they played the Bucs last week, and this is not Detroit, but Washington can hold on to the ball for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't even matter if they score at the end of that drive. If Washington has an 8-minute drive down the field, scores a touchdown, that kills half a quarter. And that's the reason I believe in – I think both these teams can definitely score, but I think they're going to score slowly. I don't think it's going to be Jameson Williams, 80-yard touchdown, get a 2-minute drive. So I'm with you definitely on the under on this game. 55.5, that's high as shit, especially in the playoffs, playing in Detroit. Detroit's defense is going to show up. Washington's defense is going to show up better than they have all season. So I'll take the under on this game. And, man, the line's tough, 9.5. You got to take the Commanders. Because – Detroit might own that game, but I think they might backdoor it. I think the Commanders just might backdoor the 9.5 and just. I mean,
I'm sitting there placing my money right now. I just placed a bet on the under. I'm convinced myself on the under, but I would stay away from the spread. There's some spreads that I just don't like to mess with, and this is just one of them because I don't really know. I just don't even know what to think. I mean, Detroit could just blow them out, and the public will all win money, but it's just like, man, when the public is so heavy on one team, the reps, the reviews, the conspiracy theory starts coming out of me, Kraft, man. You know what I'm saying? Like,
the thing that I believe in the most of this game is that I think Detroit can score at will. Yeah. Because the Washington defense ain't that great, but I do think that Washington can score against that Detroit defense. They're not going to be able to run the ball very well because Detroit's rush defense is good, but I do think Washington's going to sustain drives and come out with some points at the end of it. So this game ain't going to be a blowout. So I like Washington. I mean, if you had to place a bet, I like Washington at plus 9.5.
I agree, man. Any prize picks for us, high, over, and under? And you got anything on this one?
Yeah, let me get my shit pulled up right quick because this is a game that I was in on. So, as far as the Washington side, I got Austin Eckler. As we know, Brian Robinson really ain't been doing nothing recently. I got Austin Eckler at 3 receptions. Jahmyr Gibbs over 15.5 rushing attempts. David Montgomery's coming back, but I think – I wouldn't say we all know, but I think that Jahmyr Gibbs at 100% is better than David Montgomery at 70%. And this is the playoffs.
Yeah.
So David Montgomery might get – it's not going to be that 50-50 split that they did all season, I don't think. I think Jahmyr Gibbs is going to get a little bit more opportunities this week. So I like Jahmyr Gibbs rushing yards and Jahmyr Gibbs rushing attempts. And I got Amon-Ra over 77.5 receiving yards too.
Man, I just want to real quick before we move on to the next game, I do want to say, if you wonder why I come on here and I talk about why me and Phil be thinking something's up with Vegas and stuff all the time, look no further than there was a lot of lines with David Montgomery's line was like at 750.5 or 775.5 or whatever it was, and he had on the year 700. He was a half a yard short of that for the season total, and he sat out those couple games, the rest of those couple games. And then fucking come back for the playoffs after they said he was out for the year. If you wonder why, it's shit like that. That's why. Because I saw a lot of people lose a lot of money on a half a yard on a season bet, which was a good bet on whoever put money on the season-long yards for David Montgomery. That was a good-ass bet y'all put. But a lot of y'all lost some money on some craziness because the dude saying he was out for the year. And then right when the playoffs come back, he's ready and good to go. So I don't know, man.
And shout out to Noah. He got a demon pick on here. He got Jaden Daniels at 1.5 passing touchdowns in this game too. So shout out to Noah.
Hey, I'm with it. Indeed, B, we're gonna get him on here. We need him on our gambling episodes, Kraft man. Gotta have him. But let's move on to the next one, Kraft man. We got Rams and Philly, and the line is Eagles -6.
Bunch of snow in this game.
And the over. Bunch of snow. I'm already thinking under. When I hear snow, I'm thinking under. Over and under set at 43.5, so it ain't that high. But unless motherfucking Saquon takes off for a few touchdowns and stuff like that, well, real quick, I know it's like I know you just kind of whispered it. I would definitely be whatever the lines are on these running backs. That's where I would really want to put my money on is wherever these running backs are going to be doing. Because if it's going to be snowing like that. Me personally, I would put money on the under, and then I would like to put my prize picks on the running backs. What do you say, Crab man?
I mean, I'm right there with you. You don't even know my picks before we started, but I ain't got no money on A.J. Brown. I ain't got no money on Devontae Smith. I got a little goblin pick. It ain't worth as much. Saquon to score a touchdown. And we took Saquon over 18.5 for his longest rush. So this is a little bit, it's not the rushing yards. This is a little bit out there, but 18.5 rush for his longest rush, that seems pretty easy to get, whether it's snowing or not. I mean, he seems to break off one pretty quick. And last time he played the Rams, he absolutely destroyed them. I know their defensive line is picked up. They look good right now, but Philly's offensive line, it's going to be tough to stop them guys.
Yeah, I agree.
18.5, Matt. That seems easy, right?
The snow ain't going to affect them that much. And if you think about it, it really might not affect them all. Just because it's snowing don't mean the field might not be clear. I mean, it's got to be snowing at that specific time. I've definitely placed bets on, man, the weather's going to be bad. Just to see the field's clear, it's just cold as hell. And watch them run up the score. You know what I'm saying?
Well, really and truthfully, the snow doesn't affect offenses as much as like heavy rain does. Heavy rain is the worst because in the snow, the defenses can't get their foot in either. I mean, you've seen some really big games out of some receivers in the snow. But in this case, the way that the Eagles have been running, I mean, Jalen Hurts is kind of rusty, so I just kind of feel like it's definitely going to be a Saquon game.
Yep, I agree. And on the Rams side of the ball, I feel like Kyron would be their main option, in my opinion.
I took the under on Puka, 89.5 receiving yards in the snow. So,
yeah, I'm with you. I think we're pretty much in lockstep with this game. Philly wins the game, or you think Rams? What do you think about the spread? -6?
I think
the money is 55% of the money is on Philly right now to cover.
Man, This is a very hard game to decide just because of the weather, really.
Yeah.
But I mean, looking at it from the perspective of what Philly can do and what the Rams can do, the Rams are a little bit more reliant on the passing game. So, I mean, I think Philly definitely wins the game, but I could see the Rams covering that 6.5. I would take Rams plus 6.5.
Yeah.
Rams are hot right now, and you
They
see this
are.
every year in the playoffs. There's a team that gets hot, and we've already seen it with the Rams before. I just don't think the Rams win.
Yeah. I think I agree. I think me and you are pretty much in lockstep. Is anything you want to add before we move on to our final game, the main event?
Don't put any bets on the kickers in this game.
Man, well, you ain't lying. Don't do it. Maybe if
they're
it's
talking
a half.
they're talking about heavy snow. Kickers can't kick in snow.
Sure can't. You got to get
take the under on 1.5 field goals. I would do it.
Yeah. All right, let's move on, man. Let's move on to this last one. Baltimore and Buffalo, and the reason why this one's getting a lot of hype is MVP candidates, Lamar Jackson, Buffalo. I wish they could both win. I'm just being real. I've been pulling for them both all year. But here they are, and man, this game right here, I mean, let me talk about the odds real quick. We got Baltimore -1, so close to a pick 'em, and this is consensus. This is all the books out there. The over and under is set at 51.5. Let me check out my bookie and see what I like on my site. What I'll be. Oh hell, you know me. I'm sitting here talking all this stuff. I gotta look at the USC lines for something. But 51.5 is what I got. -1, +1. Baltimore are home dogs. Listen, man, it ain't nothing against the Ravens or Buffalo or nothing. But when I say
Buffalo's home dogs.
Yeah, what did I say? Baltimore?
Yeah.
Buffalo home dogs. That whenever I see opportunities like that, I just can't help it. I hop on it. I always like taking a home dog like that, and I get it. Baltimore's got a loaded squad. They're loaded, and if you look at Buffalo's squad, I think I might keep mixing them up, calling Baltimore and Buffalo. The Ravens got a loaded squad, and the Bills I feel like are inferior squad wise, but they got Josh Allen. But Baltimore has Lamar Jackson. And we got the home field, and it's just a lot of. I'll just say
it's a lot.
I don't know. I don't know what the hell's. Yeah, I don't know what the hell's going to happen.
It's going to be a good ass game. Is what's going to happen.
Yeah,
it's going to be a good ass game. Game of the year.
Buffalo at home. That's really where I stand in the playoffs. You're underdogs. I can't help it. I'm going to put money on Buffalo at home, no matter what.
Yeah, I'm putting money on Buffalo at home too, and Buffalo. And I'm going to take the over in this game because there's not snow forecasted. It's going to be cold. But when it comes to this kind of playoff atmosphere, we've seen what Josh Allen and Kansas City did with Mahomes in that game, the game that everybody remembers in the AFC Championship. I think the offenses are going to win out in this game. Like Baltimore, they got a good rushing defense. That's all cool and all. Buffalo got a decent defense. I think the offenses are going to eat in this game. I think they're going to go over 51.5. And then Buffalo to win. Home dog, come on now.
Home dog, man. And it's nothing about with the teams, because if they were in Baltimore and Baltimore was the home dog, I would be putting money on Baltimore. You know what I'm saying? That's just the gambler. That ain't the football in me. That's the gambler in me. You know what I'm saying, Kraft man? I feel like a lot of people who've been gambling, they understand what I'm saying, you know?
Yeah. I'm with you on that.
It's just like certain teams. It's like when you're doing college and like Alabama was on that run. If you ever saw Alabama as an underdog, you're going to put money on Alabama as the underdog because that's a good time to make money, you know?
Were they ever home dogs?
I mean, I doubt it. I remember one time in like the national championship, they were underdogs to Georgia, but Georgia won. But it was like, can't help it. Alabama's an underdog. I just can't help it. I gotta put money on it. It's
so
I
was just gonna ask, what all have we agreed on as far as the games go? That we can put
we agreed on everything except for
lock this shit down.
Well, I will say we agreed on everything except for I was having Houston cover, and I think you probably think Kansas City runs away with it. But lock it down. If we want to lock it down, let's just we'll just lock it down for these folks right now. And my lock would be the under on that Rams Philly game. Maybe. I think that might be my lock.
I like the under on the Detroit game.
Yeah, I'm with you. I put money on that too. I don't know, because I ain't gonna say Buffalo at home is a lot. Because if Lamar wins, I'm not even gonna be shocked at all. And I hope they win it all. Yeah, unless Detroit wins it all. I mean, I'm pulling for Detroit too. I just don't want the Kansas City to win.
Yeah,
but
we
anybody
all don't,
else,
but it's best to just bet with them though, because they seem to win.
Whoever wins this game is ultimately who I'm pulling for, unless they get matched up with Detroit in the end. I might pull for Detroit. I've been pulling for Detroit for a couple of years now, so I really want to see them win. I just like what they're doing. As a Falcon, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I've told a lot of people to keep it secret, but I like Detroit, man.
Yeah.
I mean, same division, but the Detroit has sucked for so long, it's hard not to cheer for them. I like a lot of their players, too.
I'm with you. I'm along the same lines. I've been a Falcons fan my whole life. So when I see an organization get buttoned up as buttoned up as Detroit has been and the success that they've had, I really want them to win a championship. I'm just being honest.
Yeah. It's hard to say, but damn. Feel bad for Detroit. They need one.
Well, what do you say, Crab Man? Did you got some prize picks for that last game, Baltimore and Buffalo? Did you got any for us?
Oh yeah, I got some, and I'll go ahead and rattle them off, like all of them at the end. But shit, Noah, he's on point. He found Mark Andrews at less than 0.5 rushing yards. Just he saw Mark Andrews had 2 carries on the entire season. The under.
That's a motherfucking man. That's why you listen to the Fake Stuff podcast.
On 0.5 rushing yards for Mark Andrews. If he gets an end around, I'm gonna be fucking. We're gonna be.
I'll die.
He had 9 rushing yards last week. I guess that's the only reason he was even on there. I guess he got some kind of end around or something. I don't know what happened, but he got 2 carries on the year. I got Josh Allen over 1.5 passing touchdowns. Derrick Henry, take the over on 97.5 rushing yards. He's been rushing for 130 a game average. And I don't think Buffalo's defensive line is that great. So that's probably the chalk bet of the week, though. Derrick Henry over his rushing yards.
I will go looking. Last week I hit on a little 2-leg on Derrick Henry, the carries, and Saquon carries. Hit on the over on both of them. I'll probably look to something similar like that, where I think these running backs will run the ball a lot and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, Craftman, they're always on these prize picks, and I've been hopping on it too. I like to see what him and NDB are thinking.
We're so close to hitting last week. Got 5 out of 6 on the parlay. But I'll just go ahead and name all the ones we got so that we can, get on out of here with the gambling picks and we'll have them all organized together. So we got Derrick Henry for a rushing touchdown. That's not worth as much, but in a 6-leg, you need some that probably going to hit. So got Derrick Henry for a rushing touchdown. Saquon, 18.5, longest rush. Austin Eckler, 3 receptions. Joe Mixon, 16 rushing attempts. Like I said, I don't know how much I believe in that now with the injuries. Amon-Ra, over 77.5 receiving yards. Kyron Williams, over 12.5 receiving yards. And for our next 6-pick parlay, got Jaden Daniels over 1.5 passing touchdowns. Mark Andrews under 0.5 rushing yards. Josh Allen over 1.5 passing touchdowns. Jahmyr Gibbs over 15.5 rush attempts. Saquon to score a touchdown. And Derrick Henry over 97.5 rush yards.
Man,
and I did one on sleeper. These are my touchdown picks for the week. It's $20 to win $700.
Yes.
So this is like your big picks of the week. So I got Kareem Hunt to score a touchdown. Got Zach Ertz to score a touchdown. Josh Allen to score a rushing touchdown, and the under on Puka Nacua 89.5 receiving yards. $20 to pay out $700.
And that don't even sound outrageous to me.
It really doesn't.
That could definitely hit, and I hope it does. But
I feel good about that, man. I feel feeling pretty good about it.
Hey, gambling is our thing here at the Fake Stuff Podcast. It's really Craft Band. Do you got anything you want to say to the folks out there?
Nah, man, just good luck. Thanks to everybody for listening. And if you want to gamble, man, we do pretty good on this. We do pretty good on this gambling stuff. So, put in some bets, the ones you like, and roll with it.
I agree, man. Just a 5-star review. Tell a friend about the podcast. Go subscribe to us on YouTube. We're trying to build that YouTube page up. But other than that, I just want to thank everybody for listening. We have fun doing this shit. But we are out.
Peace.